Yeah, my life is pretty well centered around the GTO. I bought my first one in 1965, coming home from the Army. In the beginning, in the 65 era, they were known as the Tiger. Then when the 68s came out, the Goat moniker hung on, and it continued. In 70, they became the Humbler. The collection that we have here is something that's taken a little over 40 years to develop.
A collection of 9 Ram Air 4 powered GTOs and Judges to be for sale at a Mecum auction is unheard of. They represent themselves exactly as they would have been as they left the factory, either in a restored condition or one car in particular that is in extremely good original condition. The best of the best from the guy's personal collection, who is regarded as the #1 connoisseur of Pontiacs and Pontiac GTOs on the planet.
John DeLorean was the guy behind the GTO. And in 1964, he came up with the idea of putting a large cubic inch engine in an A-body car. The result was instant gratification by the market.
It happens every time. A guy goes out and gets a genuine Tiger, a Pontiac GTO that is, and guess who suddenly loves cats?
In the performance car world, the biggest sensation to roll out of the 1960s was the Pontiac GTO. It debuted in 1964, and what it did is it set the standard, regarded as the first, of virtually all the other manufacturers had to get on board with the concept of a mid-size car with a full-size engine as standard equipment.
It really blossomed in 69 and 70 with the introduction to the Ram Air 4 and the Ram Air 3 engines. The difference between the Ram Air 3 and 4 was only 4 horsepower on paper, but in reality, the Ram Air 4 had round port heads, a much bigger camshaft, aluminum intake manifold, exhaust manifolds were all different. There was a lot of differences, included the carburetor jetting and the distributor advance tuning, stuff like that. They made a lot more power than a Ram Air 3.
And what's interesting is it wasn't all just about maximum horsepower, it's also about styling and image and the blending of those two factors, especially for a street performance car. Really, nobody did it better than Pontiac did with their GTO well into the early 1970s.
The Judge's popularity is obviously attributed to the Laugh-In show that was being aired every Saturday night. And what happened was the colors were so outrageous. The first 2,000 cars they made was this carousel red color, which is really a bright orange.
The really cool 60-inch rear spoiler, the de-chromed Rally 2 wheels, the graphics, the Judge graphics, probably best known for that than anything else. And then a lot of other really unique touches, such as the hood tachometer. That was an option we first saw available on all GTO models in '67, and they continue to be really popular, sought after today. All 9 of these Ram Air 4 GTOs and Judges would be considered a centerpiece for any collection. But there is one car that rises above the rest that's the Holy Grail, and that would be a 1970 Judge optional Ram Air 4 convertible presented in an as-new condition in what's sort of the #1 it color for the 1970 Judge, Orbit Orange.
It's the only Ram Air 4 Judge convertible with a black top and a black interior and an Orbit Orange body. And the 4-speed cars are probably more desirable, but the rarer ones are the automatics.
I think it's really important to note and to highlight just the significance of the long-term ownership and the personal care that Chuck Cocoma has been as the caretaker, major caretaker of these cars for so long. The benefit is to the entire automotive world and specifically to the next buyer.
A GTO judge from my collection is they're going to get a car that's as good and as accurate as we could make it.
I've seen a lot of restoration work that wasn't mine. They don't go the extra mile, and I do. I've been a perfectionist my whole life. It's a curse. It really is. But it does help in my line of work.
These cars are going to outlive us, and as a result, I want someone to appreciate the cars as I did. You never own them. You're just a caretaker for a while. I'm not as young as I used to be. I don't want somebody else to sell them when I'm gone. I would prefer to at least have the pleasure to sell the cars. And the only venue that I would select would be Mecum auctions.